What's going on, guys? Player Junior back with another F1 2020 video recording thing. Today it is the turn of the Spanish Grand Prix, the one aside from Monaco. Obviously Monaco's the one I'm not looking forward to, but Spanish one is, as you will see during this episode, is one that I don't really get on with either. And today we're going to really see. Like I was saying last week, I dread Monaco because of the tight turns and that, and we're going to really see if the tight turns are a problem in this Spanish Grand Prix, because these have some quite tight turns as well. As you can see, I had to do a few things before going into Spain here, a few upgrades and stuff. But as you see, there was no events before the Spanish Grand Prix, so that was kind of interesting. But as you do see here, two parts did fail, which I'm going to try again. You know, it's not the first time we've had some parts fail in this series. But yes, this is quite a quick episode today, leading up to the Grand Prix, because obviously there's no activities to do before the Grand Prix. So it was just basically upgrading the engine a bit and yeah, just making sure everything was in line, because obviously we did lose quite a lot of power in the last race. So going into this one, I was hoping for a bit better, but we will see as we do. We'll be going into the practice qualification, or should I say the P3 quali sim. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the car does. Like I said, Spain isn't my favourite track of them all, so we'll see how I get on. But yeah, like I always say, if you are new around here, guys, then please do hit the sub button. If you do enjoy these videos, please hit the like button. And yeah, let's get into practice 3 quali sim and see how the car performed around the Spanish track. So, getting into practice 3 here, yeah, so overall the car felt quite nice going around the track. As you do see, I lose a little bit of grip always on that corner, and there was a message from Jeff before doing the qualification, the practice, during practice, he said on the corner 7, I think it was, he said I will always and always will lose the back end of the car, so I had to learn how to control the car in that way. So it was kind of interesting, really. Spain, I don't know, the car just didn't feel like it was outputting the maximum power that it has been putting down, as you will see in the race when it does come around. Yeah, I just didn't feel like the car had the same speed that it has been having, especially the car's speed that Zandvoort, we had like quite a lot of speed going around the track, so I was kind of shocked to see that the car didn't really have any speed, really. Going into the actual race itself, the car felt a bit slower than usual, and like I said, you will see in the race later on. So I don't know whether it's the cars around me upgrading or just my car in general being bad on this circuit. I just honestly don't know. The car just didn't feel the same. Felt like I was really giving it some welly, and the car just wasn't outputting the same energy that maybe it has done in the previous races. So yeah, the Spanish track did become a bit of a nightmare for me in the end, and not one of my go-to tracks, should I say. The car just didn't feel great around the track, and I know you can't win them all, but my god, as you do see, I almost lose it again on that corner. I don't know, you just sometimes don't win them all, and this track especially is just not my favourite track. I just feel like for the car, it's a full powered car, so turning in that ain't greatest. But yeah, as you see, we do pretty good in the quali sim. The car isn't doing too bad, it just didn't feel very quick. But yes, we do have an interview after this, so let's see what she had to say in the interview.
You really put a lot of effort into practice today. Are you testing new components? How do you feel the competition is for you this season? Appreciate your time.
So, getting into the one-shot qualification here, as you do see me looking over the car, seeing what thing is best for this one-shot qualification. Like I said before, this Spanish track is just not my cup of tea. That's no means to say that it's not a good track, just in my opinion, it just does not suit this car's sort of style as such. And as you will see here, the Ferrari does pull ahead quite early on. So it does show that the actual force of the car is gone. We're literally just behind the Mercedes, so the power of the car ain't completely gone, but it just became so tough. As you can see, the Mercedes is just pulling away. So I couldn't quite understand why the car was performing so bad. You know, overall the car felt great. I didn't really quite understand why the car was performing as bad as it was. It just didn't feel like it could keep up with that Mercedes or the Ferrari, which it has done in other races. So I couldn't quite figure out why. Yeah, I just don't know why it wasn't performing as good as it has been. Like I said, I don't know whether because the other cars obviously are getting their upgrades in, so I guess maybe because they've got their upgrades in, their cars are just performing so much better on the upgrades. So I couldn't quite honestly figure out why we were performing so bad. It just didn't make sense to me. It was really frustrating. I was trying to, you know, concentrate on the drive and that, but I just couldn't concentrate because I was just so, like, you know, astounded by how bad my car felt like it was performing. I know, like, to you guys, it don't look like it's performing in any other way, but the power just didn't feel like it was there. I thought we was going to get him on the line there, but we did finish in a resounding P3, as you can see, which wasn't too bad. Like I've been saying, because of how bad the car is, it wasn't too bad to finish in P3, to be honest. I was relatively happy with a P3, but I knew the race was going to be such a tough one, and I had it up against me. Considering how quicker the other cars felt around me, I just kind of knew that it was up against me, and I had to really put on a real good race for me to actually stand any chance. But yeah, so P3 for me, which isn't too bad, like I said. But yes, guys, let's get into the actual race itself, and let's see how Biblical Racing did on its actual race day.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Bird. That was a great win in the last race. Will they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bird, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, and Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, Norris, and Sergio Perez, Ocon, Kvyat, Lance Stroll, and Raikkonen, Gasly, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Kevin Magnussen, Grosjean, Giotto, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this.
So, getting into the race here as we have the 5 red lights. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix as we do overtake Verstappen there. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spanish Grand Prix here. And yeah, as you can see us coming into this nice right-hander here, into the left-hander. This is a great track. Well, not a great track, but you know what I mean. It's an okay track, like I did say in my previous little videos before of the qualification and the obviously the quali sim as well. The track ain't the best for me, I can't lie, the car hasn't performed absolutely amazingly around the circuit. As you can see, the silver arrows are getting a little bit closer just behind me as they do bunch up, coming into this tight left-hander as I do hard brake and then come up into the right-hander. As I did say before, the race itself is a very on and off race. We do pretty well at some points and then we do pretty bad at some points also. But yeah, like I said, the silver arrows and the Red Bull seem to have picked up a hell of a lot of pace leading into this, and I'm not too sure what they have done to their cars leading into the race, but my gosh, do they seem like they are moving a lot quicker than what they usually do as we do come around into this right turn and falling down into this tight left-hander, into the right-hander here, leading onto the straight on the finish line as we do come through here, still in P1, a very respectable position considering we started in P3, as we do pick up the fastest lap there, surprisingly, considering I have been barking on about how much my car has not been performing at all. Coming into this tight left-hander here, following it through. Max Verstappen is just behind us with Valtteri Bottas and Hamilton, or should I say Hamilton then Bottas with the silver arrows. As I do have a quick cheeky peek behind me, and Verstappen is a lot further up my bottom than I thought he was, as you can see the thick white-red arrows just behind me as we are now coming into this left-hander here, having to squeeze on the brakes a bit more than what I would like to. Now we are leading through now, following all the way through down to this left-hander, which is absolutely brilliant here, and you can see Verstappen still just making me wary that he is behind, but not right up my bum as we do come along, missing the gravel track. Verstappen will pick up the pace in the straights as those cars such as the McLaren, such as the Red Bull and the Mercedes have picked up a lot of speed leading into these into the race day at Spain, as almost lose the back end there, but it is still under control by me as we do come through now into this right-hander, leading down to the tight left bend here onto the tight right, coming around to the starting position. As you do see George Russell going off here, so let's just see what happens. He comes around to the left, flies over into the gravel trap and absolutely slams it into the wall. Let's get back to my actual race, into what happened there. As you can see, Verstappen did set a fastest lap just as we was going over what happened with George. Verstappen did set a fastest lap, which is a very big worry because that does mean that I am losing time and he is picking up the speed. So it was a big worry for me, but I had to just concentrate on what I was doing, trying to hold out this P1 position as I almost lose it there. Lost a little bit of grip and slowed down a bit too much, and I am leaving a massive right space there for Verstappen to get into, but luckily he didn't go for the dive bomb on the right side there to come around to this left side. But yeah, that is a big loss for George Russell with the power engine failure, going off into the gravel trap there, which is very bad for him. We really needed to pick up the speed on these corners because we are losing it massively, and Verstappen is really gaining on us. We're still setting quite fast sectors, so I guess we're still doing something right as we do pull away from Verstappen, but it won't be much longer before he pulls up on us. Hard brakes now onto this left-hander, now going all the way through, following up into the turn 7 where we are taking full control of the car, but that is a really big left side for me where Verstappen could have shot up the right side, but luckily we didn't. And as we do follow it through now into the tight left-hander, into that tight right-hander, following it all the way through round to the corner just there, leading on to the straight. As I said, Verstappen is becoming more and more of a worry, but it's something that we need to keep an eye on as we go on, as we do set the fastest lap. So we have just beaten Max Verstappen's fastest lap, which is a surprise once more. The car seems to be holding out pretty well, considering I've said that it isn't at its full capacity. But at this moment in time, it does look like that it would be performing at its full capacity, would you believe? But yeah, we just got to be wary of the Silver Arrows and their Rocket Red Bull right behind us. But at the moment, nothing to worry about. We seem to be driving pretty well, holding position as strongly as we possibly can, but Verstappen is always going to be going for it. Always going to be going for it because he is quite a boisterous driver in real life, and I'm sure he's the exact same in the game as we do a little bit of braking there, straight into powering through the corners. I could just see over my shoulder Verstappen is lining me up as we do come across, almost going into the gravel trap there. As you can see, Verstappen making a move on the right there. This is wheel-to-wheel action between me and Verstappen here as we do almost bump wheels, but I managed to just get the elbows out and force him out there as we do come through to turn 7, not losing the back end at all, coming around to this lovely right-hander as we did have to get the elbows out against Verstappen there as he did try a move on us, but we managed to hold our own, and we have really made it sure that Verstappen doesn't get past us there. We absolutely made a great move there as we do come around to this right-hander leading on to the straight towards the finish line. That was a very close move by Verstappen, great move by Verstappen himself, because it was the moment that he had to. As you can see, our pit lane is open, so we will be pitting this lap. As you do see Hamilton going for a great dive bomb down the right side as I do try and jump him again on that left side, but couldn't quite manage it as he does pull ahead there, and we are now trying to pick up where the silver arrow is, considering that Hamilton has been back in the track sometime. As you can see, Max Verstappen really trying to push it on the right side there once more as I come around to this tight right-hander, trying to hold off on Max Verstappen, keeping my P2 with Hamilton being in the lead. The silver arrow came out of absolutely nowhere and stormed past us, but it just shows the sheer speed of the silver arrow and how it just basically jumped us and we had no clue. I feel like we was concentrating on Max Verstappen quite a lot there, but there's nothing we could really possibly do about that. Mercedes made a great move there, and especially Lewis Hamilton made an absolute great move as we almost lose it again onto the gravel track. But you can see the silver arrow absolutely bolting off. The only way we're catching up with him is if we do this late braking. As you can see us going really tight there on that left-hander, losing quite a lot of time on Hamilton as he does pull off the turn quite beautifully as he is slowing down, but we are very far left again, which is leaving a lot of error for me as Verstappen could jump us at any point, but yeah, Lewis Hamilton is far ahead as we do come here across this left-hander into the right-hander. As you can see, we're going to have to go into pit, so we are going to lose our position. We're going in a lot earlier pit than any other team in the track, and it looks like we are the only one going in for the pit, so this is a very interesting strategy by my team and also picked by me, as I feel like if we don't get the speed down and catch up with the pack, then this is going to be a very bad pit strategy by me, honestly. If I don't manage to put down the speed and get past the pack as I do, then it's going to be a bad pit strategy, as I am coming out here in P19 and Gietto's just ahead of me there in the P18. Or should I say, yeah, I am in P20, not 19, sorry. Gietto's in P19, I am in P20. And yeah, we're just having to really get the pace down now and try and pick up with the pack so that when they all go in for the pit, then I do stand the best opportunity of being able to regain my P1 that I once did have. So as we do come around to the right-hander there, we do just see Gietto ahead of us there, trying to just catch up with him and make sure that we don't take him out, following around to the left side here. Gietto just ahead of us with Latifi and Russell. Well, Russell isn't in the race anymore, just Latifi behind us. So not to worry, as Latifi is quite far behind us and that Williams car has not been performing all season so far. So it is nothing for me to worry about. I just have to make sure I get back with the pack and try and make up a speed as we possibly can before these guys do go in for their picks. Otherwise I'm going to stand no chance in the overtaking, as we do follow up on Gietto here. Almost just touching the back of his tyre there, but luckily I managed to get a good break off to divert myself from hitting the back of him. He is really doing the early break here and I can't really do anything, so hopefully he's going to pit this lap, which he does do. So now we can really slam down on the power and come around to this straight and really, get back up in the positions, as you do see me flying up the positions with everybody else being in the pit. As I am flying through here, that is Verstappen just coming out of the pit, but we've managed just to get the overtake on him, and as you can see, Hamilton is just ahead of us in P11, which is absolutely insanity right now, with Hamilton being P11, but I'm sure everyone in front of him still has to pit, so soon we will be back up into hopefully P2 or P3, depending on who's ahead of Hamilton, whether that be Bottas or whoever else, because everyone else has to pit ahead of him. So this is a big, bold strategy, and we're doing very well to be in our position right now that we are in, just behind Hamilton. And yeah, we just got to make sure we keep as close to Hamilton as we possibly can so we can have the opportunity to overtake him, and just hope that the car in front of him does hold him off just a little bit, which allows us just to pick up a bit more speed, just to really catch up with him as we do open up the DRS. And you can see Verstappen going for it behind us, picking up that speed. Magnussen just in front of Hamilton there, so this is going to be an interesting one to see if Magnussen can hold off Hamilton, and he is doing an absolutely phenomenal job right now. So it gives us enough time to pick up and speed up to get closer to Hamilton, but these corners aren't doing us any favours, as we are really losing a lot of time and traction in the corners as we almost do spin out there. As you can see, Verstappen coming into the side of us there, really going for the ballsy play. That is a yellow flag and a warning collision with Verstappen, as you can see him falling down the table, so I believe that he must have spun off there. And yeah, we do prop up into a lofty P4 here as we do come up across Bottas here. Bottas is just ahead of us here as we do start to pick up the speed on Bottas. He seems to be pretty slow considering, so we are in a nice P4 here. And the guy who's in front of Hamilton and Bottas must still need to pit, because there's no way that the car in front of Hamilton has pitted and is out on the track unless he got an absolutely insane pit stop strategy, which I am not sure what he's got. But we do have Bottas just in front of us, so if the car in front of Hamilton does need to pit, then we will be going up into P3, which is where we did start. So I would take that, honestly, even though we was P1 for a little while. But considering, like I said, this ain't my favourite track and how the car has been performing in this race, it does not surprise me if we did get in P3, because that would be better than what is expected because of how bad the car has performed on this track and how bad the driver has performed, aka me, on this track as well. And I know that, you know, you can't always blame the car, but the car did feel a bit sluggish throughout this track, and it definitely something I need to look at when upgrading the car. Make sure we get that turning down a little bit better. We're just behind Bottas here, and I was right in saying that the car did need to pit whoever was in front of Hamilton, so that does move us up to P3, which is where we did start. So I'm very pleased with that, to be honest. I can't shrug my shoulders too much of it, as we do try and catch up with the Bottas now, but the silver arrows are just insanely quick, and there's nothing we can really honestly do about this unless we really put down the power ourselves. And like I said, the car hasn't exactly got the power ourselves, so we do set a fastest sector there. So that's interesting to say that. Obviously the car ain't its normal power, but we did set a fastest sector as we do come close to Bottas there, but that is a very bad braking by me, and Bottas has managed to pull away. We do need to get better on these corners if we're going to stand any chance of catching up with Bottas and Hamilton. Otherwise we're going to be out of this race. These corners are really doing us in, and we do lose a lot of time on the corners. And as we do come across into the gravel trap there, just slightly, it's something to worry about. As you see me having a little look over my shoulder to see exactly where Albon is now. Not Verstappen, it is Albon now in the Rocket Red Bull, as well as Vettel is just behind Albon there, as we do go massively on the left side there once more on that turn 7. We really need to bring that in a bit tighter, because we're leaving way too much space on our right side there for an overtake, as we come into this tricky tight left into the tricky tight right, leading on to the final right before the straight. As you can see, Valtteri is just absolutely pulling away from us, and this isn't good because obviously he is our rival. So if it does finish this way, he's going to get better points because he did have a better qualification. As you did see, we set a fastest sector 1 and a fastest sector 3, but a very slow sector 2. So it shows where we do need to improve. And the cornering of the Mercedes, as you can see, is just insane. It gets through the corner and then just absolutely has that downward speed just to power away from us, as we do go off a little bit there. Albon is still coming quite fast up to us as we do brake quite hard there, quite tight to the corner. So we do come around to this right side, following the track through, braking a little bit harder there as well, leaving massive space on that left side for an overtake, but luckily nobody's close enough to me to allow that overtake to come through there. And yeah, we are absolutely storming it right now, speeding through the race itself. And yeah, we're just absolutely blitzing through this one to no end. And I feel like we're doing absolutely awesome here, keeping up with Bottas, considering, as we do take out the corner cone there, keeping up with Bottas considering the car ain't full power, come through to this left-hander. And like I said, we really needed to tighten up that right side because we're leaving way too much space on that right side. And yeah, coming into the two little tricky corners, the tricky left and the tricky right, Bottas is just doing these corners fabulously, and he is pulling away. Look at that, just around that corner, Bottas is pulled right away there, and as you can see, Albon is just behind us. He's picking up that speed as we do come through now on the straight. Albon is forever picking up that speed on us in the Rocket Red Bull as we do come round to the right side here, massively over judging it on the left side there, going off track just a little bit, and following it through now onto this left-hander, following it right through, hard braking now to the right side here, following the right-hander all the way through, and yeah, absolutely looking just over our shoulder to see where Maxi Verstappen is, and yeah, following it right through as we do go in the gravel pit just there on the right wheel, and the little look where Verstappen is, make sure that he's not as close as I think he is, a little bit of braking and flat out speed through this corner, and yeah, Bottas is just pulling further and further away ahead of us. This race has always been the Silver Arrows race. They have just been phenomenal on this track especially, so I have to take my hat off to the Silver Arrows. They've done so well, but we massively overjudged that corner there, which is allowing Albon to catch up a bit, and like I said before, these corners are really doing me in. We're losing a lot of time and speed through the corners, which is allowing the likes of Albon and Vettel to catch up with my car now, and yeah, as you can see, just ahead of us, Valtteri's going on to the straight as we almost lose it there. As you can see, Albon getting a bit boisterous there, coming in on the right, wheel-to-wheel action once more on that right-hander, and yeah, we've managed just to pull away for the time being from Albon, but yes, that was another very boisterous Red Bull Rocket. Albon getting very spicy there, but you do see on the leaderboard there, Vettel has overtaken Albon, so the small collision there might have just allowed Vettel to come in and overtake himself, so he has absolutely frog-leaped Albon there. As you can see, the Silver Arrows are just absolutely nowhere to be seen. They're in a league of their own at the moment, to be honest, especially Lewis Hamilton. He hasn't been seen for God knows how long, but now we have the Italian stallion behind us, which is Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. So we have to be super careful with that as we do go into a little break. Now slamming down the speed as we do come through, but the Italian stallion, which is Sebastian Vettel, is going to be a big worry to keep an eye on behind us as we almost lose it there on the turn. But you can see the Italian stallion's power when put down. Vettel absolutely slamming it through there, making mincemeat of my time, as you can see him spilling through on this tight left-hander as we do go massively right, but we keep it quite tight this time, a lot better than we have taken that corner on any of the other laps now, feeding it through in this tight left into the old tight right there, coming onto the straight once more here, and yeah, we do have to worry now because this Italian stallion in the Ferrari is going to be absolutely bombing it now on us, and we have to be super careful coming into the old final laps here, and yeah, coming around to this left side, kind of take the left turn a little bit better there. As I said, this track is not my speciality, and yeah, that's just how it does be for me, I guess. So I'm gonna be very positive here and try and keep on to the P3, which will be an absolutely amazing result. It's where I started, and hopefully it's where I can finish, but I am in a lot of trouble here as the car did start to feel like it was losing a little bit of power, and the Ferrari and the Rocket Red Bull were coming up right behind me as we come around to this right side now, and coming into that turn on the right leading to the gravel trap as we do go onto the gravel track a little bit more there. Not for the first time, that is the second time now, as we do hard brake into this corner. We go massively right there. Took the corner quite well, to be honest, coming into the turn where I will lose the back end of the car. We do quite well there. A lot better turning there than what we have been doing, to be honest. We did a lot worse, and yeah, coming down now into the tricky little corners where I do lose a lot of speed. And that is that tight left into the tight right, leading onto the home straight here, coming around, and as you can see, the Stallion is gaining momentum, massive momentum. He's turning on all the burners and everything for this one, and yeah, it's a major worry. As you can see him trying to dive bomb me on the right side, but I luckily am able to fence off his attack this time and defend my honour. As you can see him on this left side here trying to get a bit boisterous, but I managed to defend him off once more, and this is a big worry now for me because I am having to absolutely drive my heart out to keep this P3 with the Ferrari and the Red Bull putting down so much pressure. And like I said, I cannot understand why this car didn't perform as great as it did, considering we were off the back of Zandvoort, where the car absolutely dominated and seemed to be lapping absolutely everybody. So I couldn't quite understand it in this race, but yeah, it just felt like we had a change of car, and yeah, it just didn't feel all too great, to be honest, as we do come through now, looking just behind us to see exactly where Vettel is, and you can see him gaining always on these straights. Always, forever gaining. There's just nothing I can really do about it, to be honest. He's always going to gain, and like I said, there's nothing I can really do. I've just got to keep racing the race I am. That is majorly left by me there. We're very lucky not to be getting overtaken by Sebastian Vettel there, the Italian stallion, as we do come down now into this tricky left, into the tricky right, leading on straight. We go massively wide there, a little bit onto the gravel trap. So we do come round to the start line now, leading through, and as you can see, the Ferrari is slamming down everything it's got into this straight. So I feel like it's holding back a bit, feel like it's saving its DRS and all its rich mix until it can finally catch me, but we are still keeping our position pretty well, going quite wide there, to be honest. Could have taken that a bit better, and we did lose a bit of speed there because of that, and now that has allowed Sebastian Vettel to catch up a little bit more, as we do take a little peek over our shoulder, and you can see Seb Vettel just behind us, and yeah, it's just a major worry now. Like I said, Hamilton and Bottas are just nowhere to be seen, so I do believe that is a P1, P2 for the Mercedes there, which is GG's to them, because their car has been absolutely fabulous today. Coming around to the left turn here, slamming down the power into that right turn, and yeah, we just got to be extra careful now, concentrate on what we're doing, try not to lose any more speed to the car, because otherwise Seb Vettel's going to get us. As you can see, he is picking up more speed on these straights, but I do believe he still has more in his tank, and he's just not letting it go yet. I think he's going to wait for a perfect time, as we do hold on to the car pretty well there, coming around to this right side, pretty wide, but then we do come in very tight and nice at the end there. So if anyone was going to come for the dive, we managed to defend that pretty well. We go massively left there, leading into the tricky left and the old tricky right there. Lewis Hamilton setting the fastest lap, as you can see. Surprise, surprise, should we say. Now we are onto this straight, and yeah, this is butt clenching time, as we do come through now onto the straight. Seb Vettel coming up right behind us, and yeah, as we do come onto the right turn there, Vettel making progress always, sort of sitting back at the moment, so that's why it worries me, because I do believe that he probably has a lot more in his engine than what he is letting on to. So I think he's holding it all, and then he's going to take me on one of these straights. So I have to just keep defending as great as I possibly am, because I don't want him to be able to concede my position. I've worked so hard to keep this P3, and like I said, I'd love to be able to have this P3, considering this is where I've started and hopefully this is where I finish. And yeah, just the two Mercedes ahead, nobody stood any chance really, as them two cars were just absolutely blitzing it in the practice and the qualification and now in the race. So the Silver Arrows definitely deserve this race. It's just a matter of where am I going to finish in this race. Like I said, I really hope it's going to be a P3 for me, but I lose a lot of time there on Vettel when he picks up quite a lot of speed on that corner there. I'm massively left, which is leaving a hell of a lot of space here. I'm very fortunate that Vettel ain't closer than what he is, because if he was, then that would have been a definite overtake scenario for Vettel there, as we come the tricky left into the tricky right. Lewis Hamilton sets another fastest lap, and yeah, as we do come round to the final straight here, we are speeding through. As you can see, the petrol is flashing, so this does mean that we are going to have to go on to the lean mixture for the last couple of races. As you can see, Vettel storming past us there, and as we do go for a dive on the left side here, get our tyres caught, and we spin off onto the grass track there, which then does bump us down positions, and we do get the track reset. And Vettel and Albon have absolutely overtaken us ahead. They have stormed ahead, and there is just nothing we can do about this now. The car is on lean mixture, so we're going to be a lot slower, and yeah, I do believe that will be the end of our race, and P5 it will be for us, as the other cars behind us are nowhere to be seen. And I believe that is a good P3 for Vettel and a P4 for Albon, and there's nothing I could really do. I had to take the risk, and obviously the risk didn't pay off there, to be honest. We did get clipped and spun out, and yeah, you win some, you lose some, and yeah, GG's to Vettel. We raced so well there, and there was just nothing I could do. I defended so well, and maybe I shouldn't have gone for the ballsy play now. I look back at it, but I had to. There was nothing else I could really do to save this, and yeah, kind of frustrated that it's going to be a P5 for me here, but at the same time, you have to just, like I said, you win some, you lose some, and I do believe because we are running on the lean mixture, as you see Lewis Hamilton just winning, as we are running on the lean mixture, our car is a lot slower compared to the Red Bull and the Ferrari. But yes, what a race. I drove so well, considering we only got P5. I felt like I drove extremely well there, as we did come across the line there in the P5. And yeah, what a race by us, what a race by Vettel, and definitely what a race by the Silver Arrows, to be honest. They did so bloody well. Charles Leclerc is the driver of the day, which is considering he was in P18, and I don't know what position he finished in, but it must have been good to be the driver of the day. As you can see, Toto Wolff there, extremely pleased with it, and old Hamilton is pleased even more there. Very well driven by the Mercedes there. No other car stood a chance against that car on the track today. It was just absolutely insanity and just way too good. And as you can see, Lewis Hamilton on the podium here, and also Sebastian Vettel with Bottas. That's kind of nice for me to see said Vettel on the podium, as he ain't going to get one anytime soon in real life. So it's nice to see said Vettel get the podium in the virtual game. But yeah, I felt like we did really well. We just lost it at the end there, and sometimes these things happen, and yeah, there's just nothing you can realistically do about it, I guess. And yeah, just GG's to all the drivers, and yeah, they just did so well. And I did, as you can see, us upgrading the podium pass here. And yeah, like I said, overall the race was really good. I didn't like the track, and I just lost it at the end there, trying to go for a ballsy move. And as you can see, I am down into P5. And yeah, just scrolling down the table here, as you can see, Gietto in P20, and yeah, we just did so well. Let's have a look at the standings. Obviously, Drivers' Championship, I am winning at the moment, and obviously, Biblical is in second on the Constructors, and nobody is going to be able to catch up with the Mercedes. It is just absolutely insanity, if you ask me, how good Mercedes have been doing. So yeah, they've just been doing so good this season, and nothing to take away from them. But we do have an interview here, so let's see what she has to say.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Great. Well, that's everything.
So, after that interview, a few tricky questions, but nothing too tricky. But yes, guys, that's the end of the video here. That's Spanish Grand Prix. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the new subs and people who started watching the videos. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 100 subs, which is something that I'm trying to grind for. So if you are new around here, please do hit the sub button. And yes, guys, I've been Player Junior, and I'll see you guys, you guys and dudettes at the Monaco Grand Prix. See you guys then. Peace, guys. Woo!